I am so glad you are here. It is alive. It is the Wednesday show. I've got RavenWolf with me. We're going to be chatting in a little bit about some upcoming classes. But in the meantime, what am I drinking? What am I wearing? Well, I'm drinking quite the collection today. I've got some burdock, some eleuthero, a little heavy pinch of turmeric. What else did I throw in here? Oh, a piece of peony root. Yes. As bitter and as acrid as peony root is. Yep, I like just a hint. And here it is. And of course, there's the what am I wearing? Once again, beautiful, gorgeous rings from Tracy. Now, I wore this one last week. This is the faceted, the name escapes me. You know what it is, though. Someone will comment at some point. I've got, this is, believe it or not, a faceted kyanite on today as well. What on earth is that?
I have no
idea. You don't know? I do know. It just won't come to my head. I don't want to unfurl the little sticker. But I've got several of her rings on, 4 of her rings on. I've got the little the lotus flower, all kinds of fun stuff from her. And speaking, of course, of the fun stuff, I'm going to show you a few things that have come in or that are just local artisans. So this is a piece by Angie Jara. She is a local artisan. She does some jewelry for us. She does these boxes and some matching bags, including little tarot totes. They're adorable. Highly recommend those. She's got the drawstring bags like everybody else, but this is literally a tiny miniature tote bag.
I love it.
For your tarot deck. It's just the right size. We also got I was able to get the metallic red mini candles. So we're fully loaded on mini candles right now, and I am absolutely anticipating ordering more probably next week. But these are the metallic reds. I'm loving those. And also on the floor, I think I've shown these off once, but Jerry, our retired, I'm now going to put those in air quotes, importer, has come back this year with some treasures. These beautiful, these thin wire bracelets with the inlay. They are, gosh, they're $5.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And these heavier ones are $7. They're $6.95.
Now that might fit on my wrist.
It might, yeah. They're gorgeous. I find these are a little tighter for the most part than the wire ones. Just so you know. These heavier ones, I can get them on, and I theoretically have a thin to medium wrist. I can get them on. They fit my wrist. They're not going to move once I get them on, though.
Which is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
If you're moving and acting.
Yeah, especially since they all have this style of clasp one way or another. They all come off.
So they can't come off.
Yeah. So, which also though means if it is a tight fit, you're not going to get it over your hand. So it's super easy to get it over your wrist and then get it on, which is nice. I like those. So I just think they're cute and adorable. And when they are gone, I hate to say it, they are gone. Although I have a few left in back stock. So it's not tomorrow, but it's, probably by the holiday season, we might be out. Speaking of the holiday season and Jerry and her imports, I am thinking about doing a Jerry trunk show here in the classroom where I am right now with RavenWolf. So if you guys are interested in the bags, the scarves, the jewelry, the trinkets, all the wonderful things she brings in, we have so much more than we are able to display in this space that we're thinking a trunk show in early November. You can come in, maybe get some shopping done.
Good for the holidays.
Yep, scarves, mittens, hats, bags, you name it. So many scarves.
You just said the cold weather thing.
I know. Well, it's a little chilly today.
Oh, it is coming.
Yeah, we're going to be reminded that it's Minnesota for the rest of the week. And I'm like, ooh. I've got my warm top. My little shell is warm. The other thing I wanted to show you guys, and these are not going to be out on the floor today. I'm hoping we get them evaluated today. We recently had a lovely couple who are downsizing bring us 4 boxes of books on Tibetan language and Buddhism. Some of them are glorious, and you will find them on our ABE listings. Some are more basic, and they will filter up here as used books. But if you're looking for the really, really fancy schmancy stuff, always check out our ABE pages and then our listings on ABE, and you'll find that. But the other day, after we got all the books evaluated, they came back with wonderful, beautiful things you would associate with Buddhism. This is a butter lamp. So you would put traditionally yak butter I did look that up.
Could find that out.
But people will put oil in here. They'll put ghee in here if it's been properly prepared for it. And yeah, there's a fancy word in front of the ghee to describe the kind of ghee you need. There are a plethora of statues. This one's a little on the heavy side. And in fact, most of them are, quite frankly. And wonderful things like this offering bowl, which I'm going to pull all the pieces out. What you normally do with this kind of offering bowl is you fill the base with rice. Oops, not messing the microphone up. There we go. Then once this is filled with rice, you put this on top and treat it like another bowl and fill it with rice. And then you put this on top of that and you fill it with rice. And you put this on top, you fill that with rice. And then this goes on the very top. So you get this tower effect for your offering of rice. It's very pretty when you take a look at it. This is a really nice set, so we'll see. But I'm staring at a whole pile of other things, bits and bobs, incenses, tapestries. I'm hoping, cross my fingers, that between Liz and I, because yeah, there's another Liz here, and I would say we're remarkably different, but we're both women of a certain age, meaning there's some gray in our hair. She's a little younger than me though. Glasses, white ladies with originally dark curly hair. You got to see us to be able to distinguish between us. I can't. I'm heavier and taller a little,
Yeah.
But you know.
So if you ask for Liz, you might get either one.
You could get either one of us. And in fact, we worked together yesterday and we worked together today. So it can be confusing. I just want to let you know. There's two of us. So we're hoping between the two of us, we can get this evaluated today because it's less than 24 pieces, I think. But if we can get those done and get the offer in and get the offer approved for the nice couple that's downsizing, we will get this stuff out probably during the rest of the week. Yeah, it'll be beautiful. Absolutely lovely. I'm staring at this lamp, the kind of like the where you pour. Fabulous stuff coming in. Oh yeah, I have to show this one off. I can't resist. There's one more I got to show you guys. Yep, looks like it's a little broom. But you could also, I think. So yeah, it's covered in peacock feathers. I just think it's 5 peacock feathers per side. I think it's gorgeous. So anyway, that's what's going.
That would clear your space.
It would definitely clear your space. And I recognize it's Buddhist, but one of the things that leaps to my mind is the association of peacock feathers with Hera. So I also think, therefore, about women's rights. I think about, because she was all about the fulfillment of the marital contract. She was about marriage rather than love. So she was very much about, no. She gave you an heir. You know her for the rest of your life, sir. Do not piss me off. I am Hera. That's her basic.
More than alimony.
Yes, more than alimony. Yes. They would march women. There would be women-only parades marching to her in ancient times with these mullein torches. So you take the mullein stalk and you dip the flower heads in wax or oil. Man, it's a great wick. It stays lit for hours. It's amazing. You do a really long parade with it. Anyway, so I see the peacock feathers. One of the things I think about actually is women's rights from a perspective that's 4,000 years old. So anyway, that's what's going on. What's happening here at the store? My herb class year 3 is starting next week. I'm very excited for that. I've got to communicate with those guys. I have, the entheogens class is on Sunday, and it's definitely, for sure, it's a go. So if you're watching and you were ever curious and wanted to take it, I think it's priced at $30 because we're going to make you the tea. And then I am here for the rest of the day in case you have questions, even after class. I'm here to consult with. No one's ever done that, but I like it as a safety measure.
Okay.
Other classes we'll have coming up on Sundays. The rest of these are going to be by donation for the most part. We have the Tarot Lab with Nooch. That comes up on Tuesdays. Astrology has been moved to a Saturday, but we will be having the class by donation on Saturday for astrology. Palmistry will be coming up at the end of the month. That's always the 4th Sunday of the month. So be careful. It's not the last. It's the 4th. Reiki Share is always the last Sunday of the month. Ooh, who am I missing? We had a wonderful time with Mr. Mooneygle. Thomas Mooneygle was in last week for a little seminar and a book signing, and it was a joy to have him here. Shout out to him and, of course, to Louisville, Kentucky. Been a long time since I've been to a family reunion down there, but it was always fun. What else is going on? Let me think. What else could we be talking about? Oh yeah, Reiki 1 class will be coming up this month too, but there's some other class
There's
happening.
something else going on.
Yes. What is it?
Could it be in with a C or a K?
Could it be chaotic?
Could be chaotic. It will be chaotic. I can promise you that.
While RavenWolf is one of our delightful tarot readers, and I'll go over them before we go too, because we've got some new ones for you guys to consider. Chaos Magic class is coming up this month, and next month it's going to alternate with another class, but let's start with Chaos. So it's coming up on, which Sunday is it? Is it the 17th?
17th in the afternoon, I think 3
to
4:30.
And it's another by donation class. And it's always fun. You've done them before, and they've always been a good time. What's the general approach?
The general approach is chaotic. Actually, what we do is we ask people to bring one of 3 things, or maybe all 3. One is an intention you would like to offer in the group or fulfill. It doesn't have to be spoken. You don't have to say it out loud. You can write it down. You can put it in your heart. You can put it in a sigil. If you have an object you use for your magic, any object, bring it. It's sort of like these shows where you're given 5 ingredients and you have to create a dish out of it. And the third thing is we want you to bring your goodwill, because really all this comes down to is not just intention for yourself or for other people, but it's goodwill toward the universe. And so we're going to bring those 3 things together here. And a lot of elements of chaos magic are amazingly appropriate for today. Can I talk a little bit about
Please
that?
do.
Okay. Background, chaos magic started in the 70s in the United Kingdom. It was sort of a response to ceremonial magic and all of the uprising of modern interest in ceremonial magic, Western esoteric tradition.
Well, that was a fairly rigid system.
Yes, it was.
And if you did not comply to the teacher you had, you weren't going to get anywhere.
That's a very good point. And so in the 70s, if you think of ceremonial magic as like a symphony, chaos magic is like a garage band song.
Yes.
It really is much more about bringing together what you have around you and using that. And the further thing that I think is important about chaos magic that is sort of under the radar, but it's there, is that really in chaos magic, you believe everything is alive. Yeah. Every single thing you see. So it isn't just that your ceremonial dagger and your cup and your pentacle and your candle have value, but your lamp has value. Yeah. Your butter knife has value. Yeah. Your glass you use to rinse after you brush your teeth has value. I was
talking about that earlier this week in one of the shorts. We're talking about that idea of everything. If it does not produce energy, at the very least reflects energy. Even if it's just light, it's still manipulating the light around you. Mm-hmm. It's interacting with you, whether it means to or not. Just like that guy on the bus that you weren't trying to interact with is interacting with you, even if only by, perfume choice. So that idea that it's all alive, I don't think it's a stretch particularly.
No, I think it's really true.
Yeah, the whole universe is interactive.
Yeah, Aidan Wachter, who is a kind of a second generation post-chaos magician, calls it the field. There's an energy field out there, and you're called to deal with things and objects and people and entities. And that's the other piece that I think chaos magic has that's slightly different than ceremonial magic. Back in the Middle Ages, you would see people commanding demons to come forth, compelling them to their will, whereas in modern magic, and especially in chaos magic, it's more consorting with and working with. So it isn't hierarchical. Now, if you think about their backgrounds, when you have kings that get rid of their wives, when you have soldiers that are out marching, you can see why that system would be valuable.
Yes.
But in these days of egalitarianism and hopefully equality, you begin to see that it's really more working with the object or the demon or the god rather than commanding them or actually being submissive to them either.
I have to say, this is completely off the wall, a sidetrack, but if you want a really good example of a modern perspective on ceremonial magic, It's not described as ceremonial magic in the book, but it is a great description of it. There's a series of books by David Edding, and sometimes he also credits his now, I think now ex-wife, Lee. And the whole thing, to me, the whole thing reads like they played a really good D&D game and he parlayed it out to 5 novels. But in there, one of the groups they encounter, societies they encounter, is all demonic magic based. These people call demons, and the demons fulfill their will, and that's how they do things. So if one of the roaming groups, it's the nomadic peoples, if one of the nomadic peoples encounters another, their 2 primary magic people might do battle. They'll do it through their demons. It's depicted very clearly. What happens if you summon a demon more powerful than you? What happens if you step outside your protective markings? Because the demon will suddenly rip the costume they had to put on to see you to shreds and come eat you.
Sounds like a Marvel comic movie.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really, I keep waiting for that whole series of books to be turned into a series of films or a television show.
Love it.
I think it would be very entertaining. But yeah, if you want to read like a description to really get an emotional handle on what some people object to about ceremonialism, while this is depicted sort of as a quasi-shamanic practice, just because this is in this universe, every society has their own individual god, and the gods are real and they interact. These people have never been claimed by a god. That's why they work with demons. They don't have a god. So
wow, it sounds like the rewilded universe we all want.
Yeah.
But just a different version of it.
Yes, so, exactly.
Speaking of books, I have a couple of books I wanted to recommend from here. Whoops, there we go. Yeah. Liber Noah Psychonaut by Peter J. Carroll. And also This is Chaos. You want to hold it up?
Yeah, I'll play mana for you.
Those are, there we go. There we go. Those were the books I started with. And I'm going to read a couple of key words that I actually did this speaking into my phone after listening to these on audiobook on my way to perform my first chaos magic thing.
Wow.
Which we will talk about in a minute if we have time.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, there's a slogan that's used in these books. It says, nothing is true and everything is permitted. Gee, that sounds kind of formless and void, but it really is not. Because it's fast, it uses what's at hand, it's practical, it's portable, creative, unexpected, and energetic. It really does have a form. It just changes over time. One of the things I like is karmic accelerant. That's what this is. It doesn't necessarily change the outcome. It accelerates what is already in your brain and in your soul and brings it forth in the world, which also talks about what is this world about? Is it linear? Is it circular? And in this particular chaos magic world, it is really an ellipse. You are coming into manifestation, but as part of that, you're also going out of manifestation. So again, there's this kind of perpetual motion, which is a little nerve-wracking to those of us who like things nailed down, but it's also very realistic, I think.
But also very empowering as you grow into that new change, that new shift. You're empowered to participate in it as fully as you can, I think, by chaos magic.
I think so.
Positioning you to, succeed.
Yeah. One of the things that everybody gets to write their own slogans, right? So I wrote 3 and actually have a Latin translation for each phrase.
Nice.
Everything is one, which is unitatis, and that means we are really one with everything in the universe, whether we like it or not, and including the things we don't really care for. But that enables us to relate creatively to everything. Then 2, everything is alive. It isn't just people and trees and bugs and political parties. It is every single thing. You've had this experience when something goes wrong with your computer, you yell at it, right? Well, what if you reverse that and say to the computer at a successful session's end, I have gratitude for you, computer. I'm thankful for you. It changes the way you operate in the world.
It does. So it does. And it's amazing how those subtle differences can really change things. Like for me, as a non-native Minnesotan, learning to drive in Minnesota, if there's ice on the roads, I tell myself I'm sledding, and it changes how I react, and I'm safer because I think of the car not as a car, but as a sled. So the way I respond to everything physically is safer, and that is a profoundly magical act.
Well, and that sounds like a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
Because once you relax into life, it does become easier.
Mhm.
The last, and there's only three, is love is the only rule. And there really is not a lot of direction in chaos magic, but love is the goal and really the only rule that we have. Love being that flow of universal compassion that's going out from the universe and coming back to it. It picks us up and carries us with it. And that's when we go with the flow. I also want to reflect on Thelema, which is a school of magical thought that talks about will. And what it is we're really getting in touch with our inner will. When we do that sort of sledding or that going along with the flow of the universe, it may feel a little scary at times, but in actuality, you're only fulfilling your purpose and your will in the world. And when you do that, guess what? Automatically things go differently. Maybe not easier, but differently. And you also fit in with things that go around you.
Exactly. And I would, the comment I always have about that statement of do what you will is, well, what is your will? Because it's not your want. Want is different from will to me. And I think this reflects that same philosophy of find your true will in life and then live to fulfill that will. It's your purpose. It's your raison d'etre, not I really want to go to Greece this summer. But don't go to Greece in the summer. I'm just going to warn you now. It's hot. Go in the winter when it's nice.
But it's cheaper when it's hot.
It's much cheaper when it's hot, but there's not a lot of air conditioning. And we are Americans, and we don't live without air conditioning. Don't go in the summer. Just telling you now, go in the winter. It's gorgeous.
Okay. I want to say, okay, how much time do we have left for that?
We have a good 15 minutes.
Oh, good. I have a story.
And I'm just going to show off these other two books while you are.
First of all, these are also here. There is an author who's not here yet, named Aidan Wachter. And he's written 3 important books that I use almost daily in my work. He's not a chaos magician, but he's taken advantage of a lot of the work that's been done there. So these books, Aidan Wachter would be helpful. Let me tell a brief story. Everybody says when you get into chaos magic, be careful how you do this.
Sure.
Because you may very well get an unintended consequence. Well, remember I told you I was driving from my first experience of chaos magic, and I drove to Duluth, settled down into my timeshare for the weekend to go up for GLBT Pride.
Nice.
And I pulled out all my ordinary stuff, made my circle, did my intention, did a sigil to have a really interesting weekend. Wrong choice of words. Wrong choice of words. I had a great weekend. However, I stopped at a grocery store, and unbeknownst to me, someone had seen my certain person for president sticker and come and loosened the lug nuts on my left front tire. And I didn't see or feel it right away. And then on Sunday morning, I'm getting ready to go to the parade, and I'm driving down Superior Street, and all of a sudden, there's this clunking going on. Clunk, clunk, clunk. And then I got to the place where I was going, and there was a perfect parallel parking space. So I slid into it. I thought, oh, thank you, gods. And then as I slid into it, I saw my left front tire rolling across Superior Street. And of course, I had to call somebody to come tow it, had to leave it there for a week. All the stuff that was chaotic and awful. At the same time, what I had through that was peacefulness. I was not angry about it. I had an interesting conversation with my tow truck driver that revealed what had actually happened, because apparently that was not the first time that had happened in Superior. It's occurred before. So I did not feel lonely anymore. I felt like there was somebody else out there who knew what I was experiencing. And then finally, when I got to the end of that experience, I learned that you need to be very specific. So fast forward to Samhain, October 31st, I did another ceremony, and that exactly the opposite. 2 days later, what I had intended for came true in a way that I had never expected it to happen. I won't get any more detailed than that, but it shows the difference. Same method, same tools, intention is everything.
It really is. In fact, it's one of the reasons why on the rare occasion we get asked to do magic for a customer, if somebody will come in and say, can someone here do a spell for me? My answer is always no, because I don't know the nuanced parts of what you're asking for, because I'm not in your head. No one is. You are the best person to define your magical needs and how you want to see them fulfilled. Can you mess it up? We all do. We all do. It's part of the learning process. and you won't make that mistake because you heard the story, but you'll make your own. And you'll learn from it. And maybe you'll get online and you'll tell your story and save a few people from that tragedy. But do your own magic, I think, is one of the things that about Magus Books. It's part of the empowerment mission of Magus Books to help you succeed in doing your own magic. And chaos magic is a great way to start that process.
True that.
I think it gives you permission to, by all means, buy all the reference books. Buy 777. It's got a lovely, huge table of correspondences, and you are welcome to use them. But when you look at something and you go down the list and you find the spot you want on that particular part of the table and you go, I've never heard of that before. I wouldn't know how to get it even if I knew what it was. Let me Google it. Okay, that's not helpful. Google, you're not answering my real question, because it might have been spelled differently in that time. There's a lot of what would now be considered misspellings of a lot of herbs, particularly because you hear in your accent as well as speak in your accent. So you've got to picture somebody from northern China saying somebody to some who was born and raised in a upper middle class part of London, hearing that and writing it down phonetically for them, versus somebody from Arkansas in southern China doing exactly the same thing. They will not be spelled the same way. We now have a standardization for how we spell those words, but in the era of when 777 was written, that didn't exist. So you might get nowhere with that table. The thing it says to use, you can't find or can't figure out what it is. That's okay. You don't have to follow the table. You can find a good substitute. And I promise you can find a good substitute by looking around the space you're in. And that's the whole point. Yeah.
Totally. That's why I'm excited to have different people bring different things, because we will create a new recipe. We will create something that's entirely different. No guarantees as to outcome. However, I trust the universe that if we gather with a good intention, however many of us there are, that will have a good result at some point.
Yeah, it's part of the fun.
Yeah. Love it. It's adventuresome.
Yes, I would. And I would also, if you do magic of any kind, no matter what kind of magic you're doing, I would always think of it not as going to the grocery store and getting the things you want, but rather participating in a community share of agriculture, a CSA, where you're going to get a proportion of that farmer's crop.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. So if they have a hailstorm and the tomatoes are gone, you're not going to get tomatoes that year, but maybe all the carrots and potatoes you could possibly ever eat. And, some amaranth for fun. But now you're like, what do I do with that amaranth? What do I do with that? How do I? And you're stuck trying to figure it out. Yeah. And that's either a hardship or a wonderful joy.
Well, it's sort of like when you come into the store and we here have all these different traditions just kind of mixed together, and you get to choose which shelf you're going to pull off of and what object you're going to use. And we're here to help you do that, but it really is your choice. And I really am happy when people are creative with things and bring things together that don't natively belong together. Because that to me is the energy of magic. It's like these two things coexist in the universe, but you're bringing them together for an intention. And that's the power of magic.
And that's also how cultures and individuals create beautiful new things. There is now, well, there's been for a while, Japanese mayonnaise. It is different from American mayonnaise. You can buy Kewpie mayo. It's not Hellman's mayo. It's delicious. It's wonderful. But it comes from a fusion of Japanese people eating American mayonnaise and attempting to make something that's more them, more within lines of that society, that culture, the food choices that are commonly available. You get Kewpie mayo. It's been all the rage for the last 2 years online from what I've seen. It's delightful, but it's not Hellman's or Kraft, right?
Wonder what deviled eggs would be like.
Oh, that would be so good. Although I will do deviled eggs with Italian dressing. I will do a deviled eggs with, like creamy Italian dressing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Vestia's Italian dressing was phenomenal for that, but they're gone, I'm sorry to say.
Oh,
So sad. The kids have moved on. What can I say? Anyway, that's Chaos Magic, and that's coming up this month.
right.
But next month, you're alternating that with a completely different class. Aren't you,
Completely
Mama?
different. Basically, not just a historical study, but how do you work with an entity, a person whose name is Cyprian the Magician of Antioch. And the reason we have those other two names after Cyprian is there is another Cyprian who lived around the same time, but is exactly the opposite personality. He's across the Mediterranean in Carthage, in North Africa. He never met anyone he liked, and he was exclusionary. And our Cyprian of Antioch brings together, not in the formal Christian tradition, but in folk tradition, brings together the world of Christianity and magic. And that's why I like him, because he is not exclusively one or the other. He's an amalgam of both together. And that is a very strong image that carried through the Middle Ages and is active today. And we really wanted to access, how do you work with him? What does he help do? And also, we're going to talk a little bit about the history of how he got that way, because he didn't start out that way. I don't honestly believe that the Cyprian of Antioch had any earthly idea what was to become of his image afterwards. And yet it's delightful to think about how people develop over time, how magicians develop over time, and how actually gods and spirits and daemons develop and are shaped by their societal backgrounds and their surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. How you become a demon when you used to be a god.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. Yeah, which is a fascinating study. He was around a while ago. It's true.
Yeah.
And the baseline culture for him, everyone around him basically was Christian, if I'm not incorrect. So the fact that he would even think to reach out to the folk magic practices and bring them into what he was doing is sort of phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because he was actually martyred in 302, right before Christianity became legal. And in that late period, when Christianity was already headed toward being legal, they were trying to shape themselves according to the Roman model. And, subconsciously, I'm sure, not consciously, they were beginning to feel more hierarchical, more hidebound, a little more organized than they had been before. And Cyprian represents, you can do both.
Yeah.
You can have that, and you can have the freedom. Now, ironically, the Christian tradition has said, no, Cyprian repudiated his magic and didn't do it again. Yet we have early evidence in a mosaic that he is behind an altar wearing a chasuble, but he's holding the implements of magic in his hands. And that, to me, is the ultimate picture of who he is, that he does both. Which I value myself, because I came from a background that had a lot of Christian elements in it. And I do not think of what I do today as a repudiation of that, but a development.
I love that idea. The fact that you can be your whole self in the process of working magic, religious expression, all of those things. I should say we do have translations of St. Cyprian's workings. We've got a 2-volume set that's available. If you are interested in checking out those books and getting those before the class next month, it would be a lot of fun to see you all there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else before we close out for you?
I think that's it.
All right. Well,
other than enjoy this beautiful, cool day.
Yeah, that's true. I will remind you all about our wonderful readers. We have 3 new readers who've started, so come check them out. Margaret is reading on Saturdays from 3 until 6. She is very popular. She's worked out. She's just been absolutely delightful to work with here for all of us. But you guys love her too. So if you have not come and checked out her readings, I recommend it. We have Jesse doing runes on Tuesdays from 3 till 6. And he's gotten some really interesting readings going. It's been fun to watch him do his thing. And we have Heather, who is in on Thursdays from, I think it's 2 to 6. Don't quote me on that one, but I think that's when she's here. Also a new reader, really lovely human being. And for being on a Thursday, she's doing very well. So I encourage you to check them out. Of course, you're here twice a week.
Right.
You're here on Fridays.
Friday from 1 to 4 and Tuesday from 12 to 3.
We've got let me think about this. We've got Morpheus doing dream interpretation on Mondays. Very good, and comes very highly recommended by most of the people who've ever had a reading from him. The staff, he's really good at dream interpretation. So if you've got a dream that's nagging at you or a dream from your childhood, you just want to understand why, he's the guy to see. He just is. He's a delight. Am I missing anybody? Who am I missing?
You got it.
I think I got them all. All right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's all the same spirit atmosphere, but accessed in different ways.
Yeah.
Runes, palmistry, tarot reading, Reiki, whatever you choose to do is really a manifestation of that same field.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of accessing it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, I mean, if you can't come in looking for tarot reading, but there's a rune reader here, be open to that.
Yeah.
That's how the universe moves.
Absolutely. And honestly, yeah, all of the readers are, they are absolutely, they're tapping into that universal energy, and they are giving you their best interpretation of what they're experiencing and seeing and feeling, and whatever their medium is telling them, the runes, the cards, your dream, what have you. So if you get a chance, come in. They all happen to be charging $2.50 a minute plus tax. So if you're not sure, give us a call. We'll let you know if the reader's in or when they will be. Happy to run over the schedule with you guys, and hopefully we'll get more information on that out in the store very soon. We've just redone the posters. So, and we have no one in on Wednesdays at this point, so we're definitely taking auditions still. So if you are interested in becoming a reader, exploring that possibility, by all means, shoot me an email through our website and we'll set up a time for you to come in and audition.
Perfect.
With that, we are coming close to our end of time. So on behalf of myself and all of the staff here at Magus Books and Herbs in Minneapolis at 2520 Central Avenue Northeast, you know the drill, and at magusbooks.com, yes, books is plural, we look forward to seeing you either here in the shop or on the site, and we want you all to have a wonderful day, and thank you for being your magical selves every day, and of course, doing the little magical things you can do here, liking, subscribing, you know the drill. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you all soon.
What?
Bless